And we are monitoring developments at Nasrec. That's where the 6th ANC Policy Conference is currently set to get underway. Ayanda Nyathi is standing by to speak to the newly elected Secretary of Gauteng, Nciza. Good morning, Ayanda.
Yeah, Tutuzile, we already see delegates starting to stream in. Those discussions, we're told we're going to start at around 9 o'clock, give or take. But I mean, obviously, because things ran into the evening yesterday, we did anticipate some kind of delay. But yeah, day 2 in earnest, set to get underway. And today, if you like, is the slog of the work. Those robust debates are likely to take place from peace and stability, social economic transformation. In fact, those are 2 separate committees. There's social transformation and economic transformation, and both have their work cut out for them. But as you mentioned, the newly elected Secretary of the Gauteng province is Nciza. And he's with us now here at the Nasrec Expo Centre. It's great to speak to you, sir. Thanks very much indeed for making time. Today, arguably, is really where the work gets done. All those discussions set to take place behind closed doors. Perhaps let me begin by just trying to gauge from you what Gauteng is hoping will be top of those agendas.
Firstly, morning to your viewers. Gauteng is here for one thing and one thing only. The issue of the economy is affecting our people. And there are a number of areas that we want to discuss, and robustly so. Firstly, the issue of energy. We speak about mixed energy in the ANC. That's our policy. Now, renewables is one part, but you can't want to phase out the coal, because it speaks to a number of people, and it speaks to, for instance, the Mpumalanga area. They depend on coal, and we've got coal to mine for the next 300 years. So it's part of what we want to speak about. Secondly, the privatization, but also the impact, the SOEs, they are important to us. You can't privatize SOEs, they are important. Our people will be asking us about electricity and not private sector. So it is important that we preserve that as government. But thirdly, the people of Gauteng have been speaking about the e-tolls for long. And it can't be that we are 5 years later or even more, we are still speaking about e-tolls. And we are very strong on it as Gauteng. The issue of crime, it's out of control, yeah. And it must be, we must be clear on what must happen on this issue of crime, and we want to push very hard on it.
Yeah. In fact, on that, apologies for interrupting you. I mean, what many South Africans are currently dealing with in the latest instance, if you like, of a headline-grabbing crime is around the gang rape of 8 women at Krugersdorp. 67 people, we're told, have now been arrested. But it's another instant in the Gauteng province where we can see what's described in the policy documents as transnational organized crime taking hold. Essentially, foreign nationals in some instances, as is the case now, being able to gain entry into the province to commit these kind of crimes. It's in the policy documents. It has been for a while. What will it take to finally implement some of those policies to make sure that we have stronger borders so that these things don't bedevil the economy in Gauteng?
One thing that we must also commend our police for the past few weeks, they have been arresting a lot of these criminals, especially on these violent crimes. When they do good, we must commend them. Secondly, Gauteng is affected by these illegal immigrants, and we are speaking on it, especially on the migration policy that we must deal with in this conference. We are coming very hard. Our delegates are prepared. We are from a conference. We must nip it in the bud. It can't be that we have a lot of undocumented people in our country, and our borders are like a freeway. We are not xenophobic. We don't believe in xenophobia. In fact, the ANC is clear on these policies. But of course, I mean, our even small business, emerging business people, in our own township, the economy has been taken away from them. We must speak to it on how do we really, hospitality, what is happening there? I mean, it's taken away. Uber drivers and many other issues. Unemployment is very high. You must bring skills in any country. You can go anywhere. You must bring a special skill for you to be able to get a job. Cheap labor is the name of the game for capital. You can't only blame government. What about private sector? It is, in fact, causing this confusion. It is making sure that it's entrenching black-to-black violence, because it is them who are not employing South Africans because they know they'll be speaking about their rights, and it can't be that we allow it to continue anymore, because that's a problem for us.
Sure. Enforcing labor laws is certainly part of the issue. Yesterday in his opening address, the president of the ANC admitting in no uncertain terms that the party is at its weakest ever. later on in the day, in fact in the evening, Bibi Potgieter, I beg your pardon, describing this moment as a make or break type of conference for the ANC. She went as far as to say that we need to relook how the party allows memberships to actually take place. What's the stance of the ANC in Gauteng around those issues?
First of all, ANC must never lose its character. It's a it's a mass-based organization. Because the day you want to make it an organization of the elitists, you are killing the ANC. That we can't allow. And we have seen attempts, and we are coming here to also say, this is a mass-based organization. It has to remain like that. But secondly, you can't continuously have branches that don't exist. They only exist on systems. You know, including a person that comes and contests the ANC. Or rather to be a member. You join in June. In December you are going to come into a conference and remove a president. Some of those things we must deal with them because they are a problem. But also, you know, you have a branch that, you know, because it has a membership, it doesn't do programs, it's not seen, it's not known, it's not working for the community. It meets only when it must elect leadership and when it must remove leadership. We must talk to that because a branch of the ANC must be active, including a member that must in fact stand and become a leader of the ANC. You must be an active participant in the African National Congress. For you to come to National Conference, you must have been a member of the ANC that understands the values, the principles, the culture of the African National Congress.
Does the ANC need a more rigorous membership process?
Of course. That's what we're talking about. That's the approach we must take. You know, we can have 2 million, 5 million members, but if you've got membership that really does not even understand the organization that you are at, you'll have problems. I'm sure the 1 million membership campaign that we would have done has brought us where we are. We also need to talk to it. We need membership that understands what this organization is about, but also disciplined members of the ANC. We need to work on issues of discipline because we have dropped it because, you know, this faction, that faction, you know, we only speak on discipline when it's people who you believe don't support you. It can't be. When people are doing things that are foreign in the ANC, we must nip that in the bud.
Nciza, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us, an organization that has its work cut out for it. Nciza, of course, is the newly elected secretary in the Gauteng province. And there's so many issues, of course, to be ventilated for an organization that has conceded multiple times that it is at some kind of crossroads. In fact, the beginning paragraphs of the policy documents speak of this existential crisis that the party is facing, one that must be addressed lest it cost the ANC its very existence. We'll continue, of course, canvassing these sentiments for you right here at the Nasrec Expo Centre as the ANC enters day 2 of its national policy conference.